Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. We really appreciate you being here to hang out with us. Be sure to hit subscribe, and as the kids say, smash that little bell. Get notified whenever we have a new episode. Every single weekday at 2 p.m., we drop a new author, artist, filmmaker, musician, creative minds of all kinds come to the Hangin with Web Show. And we are here this weekend at Space Coast Book Lovers in Cape Canaveral, Florida. And we're hanging out with Hangin with Web Show alumnus, author Cynthia P O'Neill. And we're going to be talking about the third book in the Titan Security series.
Yes.
Which is McKenna's Trust.
Yes.
Cynthia, well, thanks for coming and hanging with us again.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. All right, so let's talk a little bit about McKenna's Trust. Where are we in this series right now?
Well, each book in the series is a standalone, so you don't have to read anything in order.
Okay.
The first two focused on men protecting women,
Okay.
with a lot of different circumstances going on, people after them and trying to keep them safe. But I decided, it's time for a woman to actually be in charge.
Flip it on its edge.
And flip it on its edge completely. She's guarding her ex-lover that he's being up for with SEC and FBI charges for Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
And she's there to try and clear his name and protect him because people are out to kill him too. So.
Well, that would do it. Yeah, he would definitely need protecting. We talked a lot before, and in the especially about the Titan Security series. Let's remind everybody what the series is about and what inspired these kind of stories.
Well, it all started with the Need series with the Prescott family, and these guys were their security guards.
Okay.
Watching them, and after the Need series finished, everybody goes, well, what happens with the security guards? What are their stories? So I started with that, with Derek's Choice, and then moved it on to Jonas's Redemption.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, let's continue it on, but let's make it a woman this time.
A lot of fun to flip things over a little bit.
There's so many men protecting women, but there's very few women that are really kick butt and that are presented in books that they're protecting the men.
It is. It's more and more common now for us to see it in popular culture than it ever was before.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we do forget that as a genre, when we talk about security and policing and these kick-ass jobs.
Yeah.
In literature and film and television and storytelling, it still is dominated by the old, strapping young man, defending the young lady.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun to see you flip the script on that a little bit and turn it around. Now, you added the additional complication. She is guarding her ex.
Yeah.
Where were you going with that? What were you thinking? Why?
Well, they basically end up with a miscommunication as why they separate out.
Okay.
She runs off, healing a broken heart, and ends up joining the military. And in the process, she becomes a sniper, a black belt, and then goes into computer hacking, which brings her to the security side of stuff. But then when she gets the assignment, she's not happy about going and seeing her ex again, but they more or less said, you're the only one who can tell if he's lying or not.
Okay, all right. So there's that's the great thing about writing in novel form, is that you have an opportunity to create the circumstances to put these two people in a room together again. And so she's the only one that can tell if he's lying or not, or where he stands, or if he is innocent or guilty.
Yeah.
So that's how she ends up with the case.
Yeah, that's how she ends up with the case, and she's more or less told either take it or quit.
Gotcha.
So she's kind of forced to take it, but she wants to hate him, he wants to hate her, but it's like, when you see each other and you have all that past history, things happen.
Hijinks ensue, because that's what happens in Cynthia's books. Hijinks always ensue.
Well, you definitely have computer hacking, you have corporate espionage, you have snipers on rooftops, you name it, it's in there.
And somewhere in there, whenever Cynthia puts it down, you've got all of these action things happening all over the place, and somewhere in there, there's a romance. There's a human connection.
Oh, when it connects, it's like a nuclear explosion.
That's a good book blurb right there. That's all I can say. That's a great book blurb. Okay, so This is number 3 in the Titan Security series,
Yes.
right? Are there more coming? Are you working on more?
I don't know. At the end of this, I put, is it the end or is it?
Oh.
Because I had never planned on doing Titan security. This just came out of need and people demanding the stories for the security guards. But in the process of doing a couple standalones, I kind of referenced the Titan security world and had other agents come on board where I have the potential to go to 4, 5, and 6, but it's kind of a wait and see at this point.
Yeah, see how people are liking this.
Yeah.
This one isn't quite out yet. It's coming out very, very soon. We're looking at
July 23rd.
July 23rd. McKenna's Trust will be available online and bookstores and those places
Yes.
at your booksellers. Beta readers. What are your beta readers saying so far? What are people who read the book saying?
They love it. They like the fact that it's the woman doing all the work this time, protecting her man.
Awesome.
And of course, he's very protective of her as well, but she's got all the skill set.
Well, I was going to say, therein is you're writing a very interesting dynamic because it is a woman protecting a man. Also, it is again, they have a history, a relationship history. But you know, guys, whether we want to admit it or not, we always have that bit of bravado in us. So there's an additional complication and conflict in there too, because he's a guy that's being protected by a woman, and even whether or not that is right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't really matter. It's his perception that does.
Yeah.
And so how does your character take to that? How do you deal with that particular tension?
He admires her. He admires everything that she stands for, and is happy to see that she's pursued her dreams and supports it. And of course, he wants to stay safe and prove his innocence in the process.
Which is valid. Look, look, if somebody can protect me, I'm all about it. It doesn't. The rest doesn't matter. But it is. I know that, and it seems like a sexist question, but it's the world that we've come from, and the world we're moving into, where oftentimes we have to accept different gender roles.
Yeah.
And in that process, there's always a bit of conflict in that process.
Well, she has to work in coordination with some of the FBI guys and some of the SEC guys, and they're kind of like, I don't know what to think about a woman being in charge.
Leftover boys club.
Yeah, but then as soon as she proves her worth, you know,
which is always the case, right? Our hero, part of the hero's journey, is proving your worth, your mettle, if you will, and that's part of the journey, as proving to your peers and to those onlookers that you are worthy of their accolades, and so, and especially when we're flipping gender roles, because that becomes an even bigger part of the journey, because there's an automatic prejudice, if you will, against a preconceived notion of what a gender role is, and you're always fighting with that. And so it's good to see that you put that conflict in there. It's a very real conflict for many women in many jobs all over the world today.
Yeah, because though some jobs are still very male-dominated, there are a lot of females getting into them. So I like the fact of going in for something that's usually a male role.
Yeah, and it's seen as a traditional male role.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. Like, as you said, she's got the training, she's got the skills. So that's an amazing way to do that. Loving the cover design here. This is really neat. Who did your cover?
His name's Randy Potvin from RP Designs.
Okay.
He did the cover, and Christopher John took the photograph for the model in the front.
Oh wow, fantastic! And so everything was done for this book. That is absolutely amazing. Guys, we've been hanging out with Cynthia P O'Neill from Space Coast Book Lovers here in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The book is dropping on July 23rd. So catch. It is McKenna's Trust.
Yes.
Yes, McKenna's Trust. Catch McKenna's Trust July 23rd at bookstores, online, everywhere. We're going to put links down below so that you can find them. And you can find all the rest of Cynthia's work as well. In the meantime, guys, we're going to say thank you to all of our partners and friends at Krypton Radio, Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, J. Bauer Art, the Cogler Emporium for all of our great decor on the set, our great friends at the Foxwood Wine Company, and, of course, our new friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida. Thank you guys for all your shares, for all of your help in spreading the word about these fantastic creative artists all over the World Wide Web. We hope that you will do the same. We also want you to remember to stay tuned in and stay logged on and see who we're hanging with next. Cynthia, thank you so much
Thank
again.
you.
Awesome.